Now, the first polling stations have opened for voters in the US as Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump end their rallies in battleground states. Here you can see the first voters casting their ballots in New Hampshire earlier today. American filmmaker Oliver Stone spoke to Watching the Hawks about the candidates and the election.
Very few people are truly investigating, and we need it. It keeps us at democracy. It reins in the excesses of government, and there's been a dearth of it. The NC people, they were all the four people who resigned were all top officials. They were doing bad stuff, and that came out. Whether it came out from WikiLeaks or another hacker, this or that, it is relevant. But people are not focusing on that. They're focusing on who did this. Probably an insider, because I would imagine that's where the best information would come from. But you can't keep secrets when you're abusing them. And I think that's sort of the moral of the story. We need to get the pollution out. And I'm afraid that Ms. Clinton and Mr. Trump are both surrounded by scandal. It's bad for the country.
Well, for more now on what has been a very bitter presidential race, let's cross to Neil Harvey in our election studio.
Welcome to RT International's special coverage of the US presidential elections with me, Neil Harvey. After months of campaigning, the US election race is about to cross the finish line. Americans will be heading to the polls to decide who will become the country's 45th president. The next leader will almost certainly come from one of two candidates. Will it be the former Secretary of State? She's been engulfed in scandal over her private email use and suspicions about her health. What do you say, Hillary? She's not so sure. Or will it be the billionaire tycoon, the golden boy? Apparently, the hair is real. He's been accused of sexual harassment, though, and branded as xenophobic racist. All of that has left many voters feeling that they're choosing not the president they want, they're actually voting against the candidate they don't.
Have your back.
I'm going to fight for you, the American people.
I have said repeatedly, whether it was a personal account or a government account, I did not send or receive any emails marked classified at the time. That is an absolute fact.
110 emails have been determined by the owning agency to contain classified information at the time they were sent or received.
They're bringing drugs, punch him in the face. They're bringing crime, very nasty guy. They're rapists.
Grab him by the...
How stupid are the people of Iowa?
He's paid nothing in federal taxes.
That makes me smart.
If he's paid zero, that means zero for troops.
There's a lot of frustration among the American voters, judging by opinion polls. According to one particular survey, for example, less than 30% of both Trump and Clinton supporters will be excited. That's if their candidate wins. Apparently, the main emotion that is driving them is fear. And look at this next chart. 80% of Donald Trump supporters would be scared of a Hillary Clinton victory. And it's just as high almost on the other side. 62% of Clinton backers are worried that Trump could just win. RT's Gani Chichikan has more now on how the voters have been left with this uneasy choice.
America is about to choose a president whom the majority of the country views negatively. Unfavorability ratings for both Clinton and Trump exceed 55%, with Trump at 63 and Clinton at 56. It is much worse among young people. They rated both Clinton and Trump less favorably than Lord Voldemort, the notorious villain in the Harry Potter series. The labels and accusations that both candidates face have made many voters cringe. Most Americans seem to be in the dark about the specifics of their policies, but they've heard a lot about why one candidate thinks the other is worse.
Racist,
Crooked,
deplorable,
liar,
sexist, homophobic.
crooked Hillary Clinton.
With that, many Americans are left thinking that they're choosing the lesser of two evils.
It is indeed an indictment of the corporate-controlled two-party system, that in a country of 320 million people with the most diverse experiences and political views, that we're given a so-called choice between a billionaire real estate mogul who is trying to appeal to social discontent and a multi-millionaire, longtime politician who is actually trying to outflank Trump on the question of more military aggression, particularly against Russia.
Voters had other options during the primary process when the two parties were choosing their nominees. Bernie Sanders, with his progressive agenda, was very popular among young people especially. But as we learned from the WikiLeaks release of Democratic Party emails, the party actively undermined him. Other than the two nominees, there are third-party candidates who have been largely marginalized and weren't invited to the presidential debates because they didn't meet popularity requirements. Media coverage of the candidates has been disproportionately in favor of Hillary Clinton, with major outlets officially endorsing her for president.
She is so amazing.
Prepared, poised, presidential.
She has fought for our families, for our children.
We couldn't help her any more than we have. You know what I mean? She's got just a free ride so far from the media. We're the biggest ones promoting her campaigns.
Donald Trump didn't suffer from a lack of attention either. Over a 13-month period between 2015 and 2016, there had been over 29,000 articles about Trump, compared to over 18,000 about Clinton. But for Trump, the coverage has been largely negative, which prompted him to lash out at the media.
I hate him. Vicious, so dishonest, disgusting reporters, horrible people.
Left with two very unpopular candidates to choose from in this election, many are wondering how a healthy democratic process could produce candidates who are disliked by so many. In Washington, I'm Ganesh Chekyan, RT.
Now, younger Americans are among the most disappointed with the lack of choice on the ballot papers. This is the so-called millennial voting group. They outnumber every other age group in this year's election. Many of them are unhappy because they would have preferred Hillary Clinton's former rival for the Democratic nomination, Bernie Sanders, to have been challenging for the White House. But he came up short in his battle to take on the establishment, and despite all the horrible things he said about Hillary, he still ended up backing her. That left his supporters disillusioned.
That's what this campaign is about. Welcome to the political revolution. Thank you all. The greed, recklessness, and illegal behavior on Wall Street nearly destroyed the American and global economy. The only way to contain the street's excess is with reforms so big, bold, and public they can't be watered down. I believe that today it is absolutely appropriate to impose a tax on Wall Street speculation.
We also have to keep our eye on Wall Street. We can't ever let it wreck Main Street again.
I am endorsing Hillary Clinton.
For those Sanders supporters who are determined not to give Hillary Clinton their backing, well, they have been offered a rather radical alternative. It's a giant meteor. RT's Kelly Morpin explains.